Hi. As a successful developer, you need to visualize the execution flow of your program while you are implementing the code. This is possible if you are well aware of the in-memory structure of your program and you know how and where the variables are getting stored and the lifetime of the variable. So, in this session, we'll talk about memory segments of C program. I'll be covering following topics. I'll be talking about process and process address space. I'll talk about segments in the process like we have text segment, data segment, stack segment, and heap segment. I'll be also showing you some program snippet to make you understand where the variables are getting stored when you declare the variables in your program. So let's start with the initial part where you start writing your program. You save it, compile it, link it, and execute it. So on your machine, what you have is a disk. You have a main memory. And what you do is, as a developer, you write some code. Let's say we write a example.c file, and you save that file on the disk. Next, what we do is we compile our code with the help of compiler, and the compiler generates example.obj file, and that obj file is also stored on the disk. Next, obj file is given to linker, and linker creates example.exe file, which is stored again on disk. So what we do is, this is the binary for us and we execute this binary. And when we run the binary, there's a program called as loader, which is responsible to load this program in memory for execution. And that program is loaded in the memory for execution, and the program is called as a process. So we can see an executing program is a process. Now let's see how we can detail down and understand what is inside the process. What are the memory blocks inside the process? So, main memory has your process, and the memory allocated for the process is called as process address space. Now, in this example, I'm showing you sequential, but this just for the simplicity's sake, the memory is not allocated sequentially. Internally, it implements some paging mechanism to store the process. Next, let's detail down and understand what are the segments inside the process. So there are a few segments, like there is core segment, also termed as text segment. There is a data segment, heap segment, stack segment, and a section in the process that is responsible to store environment variables and command line arguments. So moving ahead, we'll understand how these segments help for the program execution. So let us understand the segments bottom up, starting from text segment. So the text segment holds the compiled program instructions that will be executed as the program runs. The next, it is a read-only section of the program and it cannot be changed when the program is executing. So we cannot have any instruction that is changing the text section itself. And also you can see that the text section is placed in the bottom or the lower memory address so that it is not overwritten by the heap or the stack memory. It is also possible that text section is shared between multiple processes. Next, we'll discuss about data segment. So data segment internally is again divided into two segments. There is initialized data and there is uninitialized data. Let's first talk about what initialized data contains. So initialized data contains global and static variables that you explicitly initialize. So when you write a program, you might declare some global variables, static variables in your code. So the variables which are explicitly initialized with some values, that variables are stored in this section of data section. Next, if you think about the lifetime of this variable, it will be throughout the program execution. Means when the program starts, this variable will get the memory in data section, and when the program completes, the variable will be destroyed. Third is the variable in this section can be changed. So if I have a global variable, obviously I can change the value of the global variable in my program. And it's also possible that this part might contain some area which is a read-only data. For example, think about you have declared a global variable which is a constant. So obviously the variable's value should not be changed in the program. So that area of memory will be treated as constant. Let's see this example program. In this example program, you can see there is a str variable. Also, in main function, there is a local variable which is static. Now, there are two local variables, a and b. And if you see global variables, there are two global variables, str and val. But in these two variables, so total 4 variables are there, 2 global, 2 local. But the one which is initialized to some value will only be stored in initialized data section. So in this example, str and a will get memory in data section, and in data section I'll say it will be a part of initialized data. So let's understand uninitialized data section, part of data section. Now, if you compare it with initialized data section, the only difference you will find is that it will contain the non-initialized data, which are not explicitly initializing it. Well, in that case, it will be initialized to 0. And again, the lifetime of such variables will be throughout the program execution. Let's see a simple code example for this. So in this example program, we have str, val, a and b. Str and val are global variables, a and b are local variables, static variables. But so in this case, val and b are not initialized. So they will be stored in uninitialized data section, and they will be initialized to value 0. Now, next segment of memory we'll discuss is heap segment. Now, as a programmer, when you allocate any memory dynamically through some program statement, the memory will be allocated from heap segment of the process. Now, you will be responsible to manage this program memory through your program statements. Now, C standard library provides you certain function calls which you can invoke to allocate, reallocate, and release the memory. So we have function called like malloc, realloc, calloc, and free. It will be used to manage the heap memory. And if we are not able to manage this heap memory, then it will lead to something called as memory leak problems. So we should be very careful while allocating the memory, and we should ensure that memory should be released once we are done with using the memory. Now let us have a look on the example program where we allocate the memory and we release the memory. In this program, I have not written any statement where we are actually using the allocated memory. So what we see is malloc statement is allocating some 4 KB of memory, and p is a pointer variable which will be referring to that allocated memory. Next, what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to use it. Possibly I'll store some data in that memory, okay, perform some operations, and once I'm done with the memory, what I should be doing is I should release that memory. Now next we'll see stack segment, and we'll try to understand the stack segment, the functioning of stack segment with the help of an example program. So let's say we have a program which has a function called foo, and foo function has a local variable y. A main also has a local variable x. So what happens is when the program executes, the program execution starts from main. So when the program execution starts from main, what happens is a memory block is created that holds the information of this function. That memory block is called as stack frame, or also called as activation record, and which has the information about that function. The local variables that are in the function are also stored in that stack frame. So you can see a stack frame for main is created and it is pushed in the stack. And you can also see the local variable x also gets the memory in stack frame of main. As we move ahead in the program, the next statement to be executed is a foo function call, and again when the foo function is called, a stack frame for foo is created and the local variables of foo function is added in the stack frame. The control is transferred to foo, the foo function executes, and when the foo function returns, the frame is popped out of the stack. and as the main function also returns, the frame of main is also popped out of the stack. So basically you can see a stack section is responsible for storing stack frames, and each stack frame has the information of the function that is called. So what we understand here is a stack section contains activation records, also called as stack frames, and stack frames are created for each function called and pushed in the stack. Next, stack frame is popped from stack when the function returns. The local variables are stored on the stack frame. So that's about stack section. Next we'll see the topmost section in the process. It basically holds the command line arguments and the environment variables. So command line arguments are the one that you pass when you run the program over command line. That all arguments that are passed as a parameter to main function are stored here. And also your operating system's environment variables are also stored in this part of memory which is accessible to your program. So let's summarize what we saw. In this video we understood what is a program, a process, and a process address space. We also understood what all things are stored in text segment, data segment, stack segment, and heap segment. So let me know in comments, are you able to understand it? Thank you very much for watching.